Peace. Happy now. Now is the vibrate. We're not going too far in the future, and we're not going too far in the past. Right now, I want to bring up basically the information on the full moon in Pisces. We got a full moon September 6th, which technically, I'm not gonna say I'm late, but it part of the energy was felt last night also, or early this morning, so to speak. So kind of like that September 5th slash early September 6th morning. But also we're gonna be able to contact with this energy tonight also. But this full moon in Pisces, definitely a lot of watery energy, a lot of feminine energy. Deals heavily with emotions and sensitivity. It's gonna be dealing with, the dreamer in ourselves, the healer in ourselves, our compassion, imagination, artistry. You know what I'm saying? But it's really into that deep watery energy. Matter of fact, deals with intuition, psychic abilities. Matter of fact, with a water sign is like a true embodiment of a body of water where it's refreshing just like water in essence, and it also like that Piscean water nature is also like a person that dives deep into the depths, you know what I'm saying? Because if you're familiar with most Pisces in general as a person, the Pisces like, intuitive people, psychic, like intuitive, psychic, watery, and kind of it almost seems arid, but like watery in that aspect of just being disconnected from Earth. A lot of Pisces are more into that intuition, that dreaming space. You know what I'm saying? Not so much into the reality of our earthly existence. But right now, matter of fact, the energy is important to reconnect with the Earth. Because matter of fact, you do have a little earth energy dealing with Virgo that's tied into the situation. And which with all these, every time I do these full moon videos and stuff like this, I always give that disclaimer that I am not an astrologist. On like I study astrology and I'm learning, but I'm not like one of those experts that be like 10 degrees north of the North Node and in conjunction with this planet triune, and this is like y'all got too much words at certain points. I just don't like to be too left brain with anything, you know what I'm saying, unless I really really love it that much. But right now is a great time to reconnect with Earth. That's where we're dealing with healing energy, so we're dealing with that healing connection to Earth. Go outside and then grounding yourself, getting one with nature, because also what nature does is, or that connection to nature, matter of fact, because petrified wood also does this too, but it gives you that intuitive flow. Like matter of fact, just like with the watery flow of Pisces, of going with the flow of life, you know, because that's also something that nature does. I always bring up a tree's not wondering like how to grow 50 more leaves by tomorrow, or how to grow, like it's just doing it. It's just being. And that's another thing with this full moon in Pisces, is bringing in the energy for us to just be, to trust our intuition more and to go with the flow, to stop being so logical. Now at the same time, because Neptune is in retrograde, Neptune kind of deals with deception, is also at a point where you want to make sure though that the intuitive insight, you know what I'm saying, that you're getting is trustable, and it's not no facade or nothing that you're kind of chasing, but that's in the disguise of your intuition, so to speak. So really though, trusting that intuition and going with the flow. And matter of fact, right now, say for instance, going with the flow may not seem like the logical choice. You know what I'm saying? Because matter of fact, I just to bring in my own story right quick, where me dealing with the situation of moving to Venice Beach in Los Angeles, you know, a lot of, like, if you looked at it from the human left brain aspect, like a lot of it is not logical as far as like, cause, and another reason too, before I get into that's why you don't ask people about when you're about to make these type of moves. You don't ask for advice on it, because they're gonna give you their egotistical advice. When I say egotistical, I'm just saying more of their voice of their humanity, and not their inner source. And matter of fact, because their inner source is their inner source, their inner guidance. But it may not seem logical, but your soul, the voice of the soul, is getting louder. You know what I'm saying? And say, hey, trust me. This may not seem logical. You may not be able to put no X's and O's to this right now, but just trust me. This is the move for you. Because again, our intuition knows source, our inner source. Our inner being knows the things that we cannot see with our physical. So always keep that in mind, that if you feel antsy about one of those type of moves, or you feeling uneasy, it's like, don't forget that if you are feeling a strong sense of your soul urging you to take this action, then you should take it, because it's something lined up for you. Because kind of like with me with the Venice Beach situation, it's like rationally, like, no, I don't technically have a place to stay or none of that. But my soul says you do have a place to stay, and you will have a place to stay. Like, don't worry about what your five senses see and what everybody else who's connected to their five senses see. You know what I'm saying? Focus on your own inner voice, your own intuition. Because also, indirectly, your intuition, not saying indirectly, but the energy of the intuition with this full moon is working with that heart energy that was brought in, the heart energy from the Leo, and the heart Christ consciousness energy that's moving in right now, you know what I'm saying, of following your heart, you know what I'm saying, despite what logics or rationality, may present. It's like, man, I just feel it in my heart and my soul and my intuition that this is the move no matter what, And matter of fact, that's why for my situation, I I asked a few people, but only in a sense because I had the control to still stand back on my notion of that I'm gonna do it the way I'm gonna do it. But some people I did, and it did kind of come up where, all right, this person is kind of giving more of their humanity perspective, and not necessarily because nobody else can speak for your inner source. That's why it's your inner source. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not called somebody else's inner source for you to use in your body. It's called your inner source and your inner guidance, your intuition. And I even say your, in essence, not really a possession, but it deals with your being, you know. But definitely moving into trusting your intuition and going with the flow more, again, healing energy to connect with Mama Earth, and also bringing in integration. The Pisces energy dealing with integration and integrating these lessons that we have been learning and downloading from the eclipse, and even before that, is integration. And also, though, another important thing is about the evolution of our soul purpose. You know what I'm saying? Because again, water moves. You see a wave, how it could turn to a big wave, and bam. But then right again, it's back to, you know, a regular flow of things, and like just water could move, adapt. But being like that with your soul purpose, like, it's now a time to reflect and realize that, that your soul purpose is something evolving and ever changing. Like, you're not meant to say, bam, hit the gavel, this is my sole purpose and I will have to do this for the rest of my life. I'm locked in on this situation. I'm locked in on thinking like this. I'm not going to learn any type of different information. I'm just locked in on this. And it's like, nah, you know what I'm saying? You got to remember to, and because it's evolving, to keep it real, because in some cases we may feel like our soul purpose evolving, but our ego pop up and stay attached to this identity. Like, say for instance, evolving past being a YouTuber. If I was doing that, and then a voice would come out to be in disagreement, that would be my ego trying to hold on to, well, no, your identity as a YouTuber will die. You know, I am a YouTuber. That is my identity. This, you know what I'm saying? So, in some cases where you may be evolving away from certain things in your soul purpose, but at the same time, it's like, wait, well, should I? And it's like, yeah, if it is some type of questioning coming up, it's just more of the ego or that identity being attached. You know what I'm saying? and being scared to lose that. Cause I told everybody I was gonna be a person that does this, so I gotta still hold on to that identity, cause I care about what other people think more than my own soul. You know what I'm saying? And it gets you away from your true evolution. But you want to be able to evolve and have your life purpose. Go with the flow of your evolution. Because it is certain things where you may realize that you're growing past some desires that you once had. You know what I'm saying? Some certain things that you wanted to implement that no longer serve, and not like it was something negative, but it's just like you got a different perspective and a different idea of what you want to do with things. You know what I'm saying? Or growing past a certain egotistical standpoint. Matter of fact, the brethren Victor Odu, Victor Victor Oddo. In fact, go check out his YouTube channel also. But he had brought that up. You know what I'm saying? With being a YouTube, it's like like how much of my ego is tied into what I do. You know what I'm saying? Because part of being a YouTuber and things of this nature is kind of to a certain extent building an identity and popularity. And you got to analyze that. Like am I really connected to the popularity part and this and that, or am I connected to the true purpose of it? And if so, or however it play out, do I want to continue to do this? You know what I'm saying? It's like keeping it real, like real honest assessments, of your soul purpose and your path. Like really, uh, just keeping it real with yourself, for lack of a better word. You know? But yeah, just kind of like letting go of those underlying, ego pursuits and your desires, and moving towards, you know, more towards the being of what you want to do. You know what I'm saying? Like just letting your being provide all the other stuff. You know what I'm saying? And not necessarily, you know, dealing with the ego with any of your soul purpose. And not to say that like say for instance in my case, like my ego is the sole purpose for my YouTube channel. But because I know that it does exist within there, you know what I'm saying? It's something that I wanna, work on, or, basically be aware of, and also move towards things that has less of that type of underlying vibration within it, you know what I'm saying? But again, like say for instance, it's not like my main thing of like, oh yeah, I'm just doing YouTube solely for popularity and solely like, nah, you know what I'm saying? It has my life purpose in it, but again, it's about analyzing your soul purpose and being watery with the change. If something feels different, then change it. Don't feel like you gotta hold that position, because people gonna think you're too wavery with the ideas you develop. Like it is what it is. So it's gonna take care of you. You know what I'm saying? Even if it's something like, well, say for instance, something that outside people was gonna invest in. You know what I'm saying? But you just really truly feel like you don't love it and you don't want to do it, and then you have to tell the investors or whatever. Like, look, I had, I analyzed, I got with myself, got with my inner being, and my inner being told me, that's not really what's for us right now. You know what I'm saying? So it's just making sure you stay fluid, in your evolution with your soul purpose. Also dealing with the Neptune energy, you know, this full moon, you want to be careful because it'll increase the risk of health problems and infection and illness. So, be careful with your health. Matter of fact, if you have gotten sick or something over the past week or so, it may have to do with that energy. So don't panic, but it will be an increase in the risk of health problems and infection, illness, things of this nature. And matter of fact, one thing came to mind is too how, like, with all these cycles, like the moon cycle, this and that, like this the stuff that the government, the 1%ers and all that, you know what I'm saying? These people study astrology. I always bring up that Ronald Reagan's wife, Nancy, she dealt with astrology before he signed paperwork and stuff like that, because they know the true nature of the universe. So with that being said, with the increased risk of health problems, you know, it's the perfect time for the government to get on the news and fearmonger about like some type of health, like Ebola virus is spreading, or West Nile and revamp or something like that. So be careful for that type of propaganda on the TV too right now, because again, they know the energy that's coming with this full moon. They know that Neptune is tied with it, so they playing them type of games. You know what I'm saying? So just be careful of that also. And again, the energy is just dealing with, we're gonna be in an increased sensitive mode, very sensitive. Matter of fact, emotional. Not emotional like sitting around boo, but we getting in tune with our emotions. And matter of fact, and and dealing with our emotional intelligence, and and for lack of a better word, analyze. I dislike using the word analyze because it just seems like you're just doing too much in your brain. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to really analyze it, but you know what I'm saying? There's just emotions that you just want to pay attention to, and really recognize what's going on. And matter of fact, this full moon also is called like the full, how each moon got like a little name to it, like the full corn moon. Cause matter of fact, cause this is the moon associated with harvesting corn. And matter of fact, and another thing to note with this full moon, that it is this full moon, beginning of September, is usually the harvest moon, but in 2017 is the way the fall equinox situation fall, it'll be better for it to for the harvest moon to be the October moon. So this moon right here that usually, is the harvest moon, is not gonna be the harvest moon this year, but it's gonna be the October full moon. So that's another little different little knowledge. But that's basically it. And of course, we're still dealing with pulling out guilty and self-destructive behaviors. You know, uh, making sure we're moving past that, getting away out of that destructive time loop of our egos, that destructive karmic time loop. By these things being brought up front to us, we're able to eliminate it and get out of that. Out of that karmic relationship with those vibrations that are hindering us. And for the most part, though, right now, it's just really about going with the flow and making sure that, like the energy of Neptune, like, where it's not being, like, it's not a deceptive energy. Like, it's not a facade. Like, you really, truly, it's, you're really, truly picking up on these intuitive feelings that you're picking up with. And it's about going with the flow, you know what I'm saying? Like, again, like with my situation going to Venice, it was just like a strictly go with the flow situation. Like it wasn't no thought. No, it was like, man, I'm going to, you know what? I'm gonna go to Los Angeles today, and just took the bus and went further on my journeys. Going with the flow. And again, it's gonna feel uncomfortable because to the extent that you're always used to running things past your ego and logically analyzing things and rationalizing. And right now, you're going to be moving into energy, that Pisces, that disconnection to Earth. You're just going with the flow, water, ocean, moving, you know what I'm saying? Fluid. So you're going to be real intuitive and real. Matter of fact, it's also moving us more into our being, you know, like being human, being a human being instead of human doing, but more of being a vibrational being, not even human on that level, but it's more of us moving into being, well, we're gonna be doing less left brain analysis and more just feeling intuitively and knowing that this direction is the right direction to go in. You know what I'm saying? Like you're just gonna feel it. Kind of like with my Venice Beach situation. No matter how much my brain could try to, even begin to rationalize, which I wouldn't let it. And for that purpose, because I knew I'm like, nah, brain, I know what you're gonna do and trying to do. It's like my soul and already spoke. You know what I'm saying? My soul said, make the move. Everything else will get taken care of. So I'm gonna go with the move because this is the thing too. On another note, you know, you get this intuitive insight and don't use it, then you cry about not being able to hear the voice of source, or why I can't hear source, or why things not changing for the better in my life. Well, because your ego choking up your intuition, you know what I'm saying? Choking up your intuitive insights with all this rationale, and you blocking your own blessings. You blocking yourself, you know what I'm saying, with your ego. I like baller blocking, you blessing blocking. You know what I'm saying? Stop blessing blocking yourself by analyzing stuff that your intuition and your soul already said, hey, it's a go. Come on, let's get it. Let's go. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, moving too fast, like the ego panic, because, like, hold on, I ain't get a chance to analyze the situation. Wait, hold on, where the numbers at and the logic and the, like, just go with the flow. You know what I'm saying? Just trust in the universe, because, again, you go to crying and wondering where the synchronicity at? Why ain't that? Because when the synchronicity comes through following your intuition. It's through taking action off of inspiration. You know what I'm saying? Inspired impulses. You know what I'm saying? And I forgot where I was going. But with the I just know for sure with the logic, cutting you off. It basically it stops your blessings. You know what I'm saying? Like it's basically like a blessing blocker. When you overanalyzing and then you wondering about where the synchronicity at, where the manifestations at, you blocking them all by analyzing everything. When your intuition giving you that impulse to go here and do that, you analyzing it. Matter of fact, and as you analyzing, you taking, because it's about time, and the synchronicity of the situation lined up for you, but you right here analyzing the situation for 20 minutes. And now the person that was going to give you that deal and sign that paperwork or get you whatever it was you were trying to get, they done left from that area. So now the synchronicity done left, you know what I'm saying? And now you sitting around wondering what happened to the synchronicity, or why I'm not experiencing, because you may be blocking it with your left brain logic and overanalyzing things. So just remember, right now it's very important to go with the flow. And before I go, I want to bring up another thing right quick and fit this into this video, but also dealing with our zodiac signs and things of this nature. I also want to add too that it may be a good thing or something you may want to look into as far as like getting a 13 sign zodiac natal chart. Because don't forget, you got in which they call it the 13th sign. Is really not, it been there, but they call it 13 because they try to make it like, oh, we ain't know this was here. But Ophiuchus, in between Scorpio and Sagittarius, when you have Ophiuchus, into the equation, it changed. In some cases, where it does change everybody astrology natal charts for sure, like what, because it's changing the degrees of the nodes and all this. But say for instance, some of us may move forward a zodiac sign, some of us don't. Like for me, I'm a Capricorn in Western astrology, the Western zodiac, 12 sign zodiac. I'm a Capricorn, but then in the 13 sign, I'm a Sagittarius. In the 13 sign zodiac is the true way of doing it, because that's what came first. Before, matter of fact, things existed in this world before the Western civilization even existed. Before some European could have, I discovered, which is not even to go into that. But anyway, you know what I'm saying? Before that Western civilization even existed, this way of dealing with astrology existed. So, you may find it important and real beneficial to really find out your natal chart from a 13 sign perspective. You know what I'm saying? And which I'm going to get into, because I know everybody first thing, wait, so you mean to tell me I'm not a Capricorn no more? Nah, I'm going to stay one regardless. I'm repped out. And matter of fact, it goes to show you how your ego, identity, like, no, I've been identifying as a Capricorn all my life, so nope, I'm going to continue to hold on to the identity of being a Capricorn. It's like, whatever, you know what I'm saying? But the science of the universe, the flow of the universe, you know what I'm saying? It don't lie, it don't. It is what it is in that situation. And I thought about, too, like how I would, with the 12 sign astrology, we've been placebo effect, how I say, is a placebo effect that has been created out of the situation where we kind of now embrace, like say for instance, oh, I'm a Capricorn, my sun, I mean my moon is in Aries. Like you kind of embrace it, and once you embrace it with your mind, as above, so below. As it is in the above, then your body will go to start to, like, oh, all right, you're a Capricorn. All right. The cells in the body, like, oh, all right, the moon is in Aries. All right, I'm going to start. But even with that, I still realize that, like, after, and that's why I realized, too, to really go off your 13 sign zodiac. Because when I did mine and found out that my Sagittarius was my rising on my sun sign and that my Pisces was the moon, things made more sense. Then I'm like, man, that's like, so say for instance, how I always made videos about being disconnected to Earth and wonder like, man, why I'm so disconnected, this and that. Like to say I'm a Capricorn, why I'm not so earthy. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm pretty sure if y'all watch some of my older videos, I always brought that up. And now it makes sense. Because I used to tie it into being like an indigo child, like a star seed. I'm like, well, because I'm not really from this earthly plane, that's why. But now it's because my moon in Pisces and I'm just not connected. And your moon sign is kind of like your true inner self. So that's why I'm so disconnected. Like creating a structure is more out of, matter of fact, out of my fake Capricorn sign or, my Sagittarius sign. But like the structure and all that coming from that. But or the person I hold myself to be is coming from that, but my moon sign is my true being, and that's why I'm so into just intuitive and going with the flow and getting rid of left brain logic. It all makes sense. But you definitely should look into that and look into finding you. But they got a lot of these little charts. If you look up natal chart calculators or look and probably do 13 sign natal chart calculator, some of that nature, you'll end up finding it. Because matter of fact, I forgot the one of the sites I use, because there's multiple sites that you probably could find that could do it. But you also too though want to make sure you're all using a trustable and a reasonable site, a site that comes off as trustworthy. Follow your intuition. But yeah, matter of fact, and embracing that Western Zodiac uh, astrology, I also see it as something too that may have been purposely implemented to throw off our energies. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's just me intuitively speaking. I ain't read no books that said the government implemented it on purpose. But what I am saying is, in a universe without coincidences, and in a country that seems to not really, really care about everybody's well-being, it wouldn't be far-fetched to think that the 12 zodiac sign was, safe and implemented on purpose, and then took the facade of, oh, we didn't know that there was 13 signs, or we didn't, whatever, But definitely look into getting your 13 sign natal chart, so you could really, really find out your true nature. Because again, it's like the placebo effect. After so long of really telling yourself, oh, I'm a Capricorn, oh, I'm this, I'm that, then, to a certain extent, your body is going to fall behind. But what's really real is that the energies of these planets is stronger than your egotistical mind. So no matter if you were embracing it, trying to embrace it, whatever the case may be, these energies and vibrations from these planets don't lie, and they gonna show you better than they could tell you. You know what I'm saying? So, but that's basically it. And again, moving into being, that Pisces energy, water energy, flowing, the dreamer, the fantasy, that intuitive energy, but at the same time making sure, dealing with Neptune, that it is not a facade, that it's not uh, any fakeness, it's not nothing deceptive to it, that the energy you're feeling is really, true and authentic, you know what I'm saying? But just really about moving into being, going with the flow, you know. And matter of fact, and not dealing with rationalism right now. Like our soul is not gonna be rational to, to a human being, to our humanity. You know, it deals with so many unseen things and so many things that's not attached to your five senses. So of course, your soul is gonna come off as not rational. But my advice, what I could say, dealing from me and my own experience, is really for sure get down with your meditation, quiet that mind, and matter of fact, you could even put your hand over your heart, produce some oxytocin while you're asking this question. Just really, ask yourself, like if say for in my case, is it really meant for to make the jump to Venice Beach like that? Is it really, and see what you feel. But it's all about your feeling, you know what I'm saying? And again, don't look too much outward. Like everything is inside us, in our DNA, in our inner guidance. So you don't really have to ask people questions about your situation. If anything, that's gonna throw you out of alignment with what your soul already has in store for you. You know what I'm saying? So just really listen to the soul. Just trust your intuition. That's why a lot of these, lessons spiritually deal with trusting in uncertainty, you know what I'm saying? To be comfortable with uncertainty, you know. Because if you're always having to control things, you could never really step into that soul purpose. I ain't gonna say you never, but, it would be harder and more difficult compared to when you rolling with your, your soul and your intuition. Things, manifest faster because you're going with the flow of things. But that's basically it. Matter of fact, don't forget about, doing your any type of like altar work, things of this nature is very important. Do a little candle magic, but and let me see, let me think of stones. First thing, matter of fact, if I didn't bring this up about nature, and intuition and how nature just goes with the flow without even trying. So I would suggest petrified wood. And matter of fact, and I'm gonna do a video separately on this, but Vesuvianite, Vesuvianite, but definitely one of those crystals, Vesuvianite and petrified wood. That'd be my two crystals that you will really want to deal with this full moon in Pisces, because this helps you to get rid of your ego when you're making the decisions of going with your soul purpose and going with the flow of your heart. It helps you to eliminate the ego. And matter of fact, and what's funny, like it says this specifically, like like to quit all that rationalizing and that doubt and to really go with the flow. So I would suggest that Visu is Vesuvianite, Vesuvianite, and petrified wood, of course, which I don't have a piece out with me right now. But petrified wood allows you to embody that vibration of nature, of how nature doesn't question anything and rationalize anything. Nature just be. Nature is just being, and the petrified wood helps you to be and go in the flow of things with your intuition. Basically allows you to go with the flow without feeling the need to question and rationalize everything. And that's very important right now, and very important when you're pursuing your dreams and desires. It's not about logic. When you listen to people's success stories, it's not them over analyzing everything that got them success. It was calculated risk and taking chances. And calculated risk is like that. It's basically like going with intuition with a little bit of rationalization. Like just kind of bounce it off the left brain a little bit. Some of us are powerful enough or made it to that point. I should say just strong enough to where you could kind of, give a little rationale without throwing off your dream, and throwing off that energy of your soul, knowing that it's gonna happen regardless, But I stay away from mine. I just like, I know it's gonna happen. I'm not trying to deal with no left brain logic and no rationality. It's gonna happen. Point blank, period. But peace happen now. Now is the vibrate. Not going too far in the future. Not going too far in the past. right now.